The Clint Eastwood hero, as we look back, has most often been a man who was damaged, deeply hurt by something. We don't always know what, but we know that somewhere there's been a deep hurt. You pick those parts. Why? How much of that is you, if any?
I don't know. I guess being a child who was extremely shy, painfully shy at some points, a person who because of my background, spent a lot of time by himself as a child, and learned to exist and enjoy, or just kind of exist on your own company, so to speak. And in trying to go into a profession that is seemingly an extrovert's profession.
The introverted part, the shy part, even though you're an actor, the loner, isn't that still relatively true of you?
Yes. Yeah, it is. I enjoy being with people, but I also enjoy a certain amount of solitude, and which is an irony when you're in a business where it's not always easy to do. Sometimes you almost have to work at that. But a solo walk in the mountains just does me fine.
If you had to pick the one film, I know it's so tough, that would be the definitive Clint Eastwood film, what would you pick?
I would say either Unforgiven, or maybe a little bit of Bronco Billy, because Bronco Billy is about a dreamer who made dreams come true.
Is that you?
Could be.
We're just across the road from the Warner Brothers studios, where the Eastwood operation has its own mission control.
Although his office is on the studio lot, Eastwood, as in his films, remains a loner. Malpasso consists merely of a secretary and a friend who went to school with him. His personal style is low-key, no chauffeur, and he wears his sneakers to work. It's here that he goes through the scripts that are offered to him, and from among the thousands he chose Firefox, a novel written by a Welshman.
I've been looking for a very good suspense film for some time. I haven't, I guess since the play Misty days, I haven't had a really one that I thought was very good, and I thought this had the combination of that of everything. It had the combination of very broad, high-style adventure, but it had the feelings or the element of a tight suspense film.
Many of the actors in Firefox are English. Warren Clarke and Nigel Hawthorne and Freddie Jones are all very well known in England. How did you know about them?
They were all very well recommended. I had looked at tapes on a lot of them, and I met some of them. I never read actors because I can't bring myself to do that. I never liked it when I had to do it, and I can't bring myself to make somebody else go through it.
You say you don't like them to read, but when they're on the set, I mean, do you then tinker with their performance?
I'll tinker with it. That's no problem there once you're doing the film, but there's something about coming into an office and meeting somebody. Once you own the part as an actor, I'm speaking about other actors. Now, once you own the part, there's a certain relaxation sets in and a certain ability to hide behind the character or within the character, bring the character within you, however you want to put it. Reading is a sort of a technique all its own, so I would rather see a performance and just see a half a scene or just something to see how a person handles themselves. But there's so many very, very fine actors in England that there's a great variety to choose from. I thought it was a great pleasure for me.
As an actor, would you rather be directed by Clint Eastwood or by somebody else?
It depends on who the somebody else is. If it's somebody else that I respect the work, it's naturally easier to be directed by somebody else, though I've done 8 films as a that I've directed myself in, and it's when you know what you want, it isn't bad. If I'm working with somebody that I understand what they're trying to get, there's no real problem. It's much easier to have somebody else have the headache.
Yeah, but I've watched actors, major actors on films, who've needed to go to their caravan for a couple of hours to get in the mood of their part. If you're directing, you sacrifice that luxury, don't you?
You have about 10 seconds or less. But you don't, you stay in the character somewhat. You keep a little bit of it with you, but there's a switch that goes in your brain, and when the switch, it's time to step in front of the camera, then you throw another switch.